Hi, I'm Eric Michael Cap for Australian Racing Review, and welcome to this weekend show. Wonderful card from Royal Randwick, Epsom Handicap Day. We'll also be covering the Sunday meeting from Caulfield for the Underwood Stakes. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get a show out early in time for the Moir, which is too bad because we had a wonderful day, picking four out of four with Jon Snow winning and I Am a Star winning and Showtime winning and She Will Reign. So it was a wonderful night at the Valley yesterday. But we're going to kick off in Sydney. We've got a good 3-track, good weather, and we're going to kick off with the feature, the Group 1 Epsom Handicap time-honored race over the 1,600 meters. A lot of scratchings on this race. We've got He's Our Roki, number 4 out, 7 I'm a Star out, and of course number 10 Egg Tart, who was the second favorite, all out, 14 Embley out as well. So let's look at the market. Happy Clapper, the very firm favorite at about $2.50 this morning. Tom Melbourne and coming through at around $6 and $6.50 respectively. Fox Play at $8.50, and they're the main horses in the market. Well, we're going to stick with Happy Clapper. A fantastic win first up, and then a tremendous run in the Grade 1. George Main behind Winks beat Fox Play and the others by 3 or 4 lengths. He's been placed over the mile here in the Doncaster twice. He's been placed in a Queen Elizabeth era at Randwick as well. Loves the big track. Really deserves to get his Group 1 here at Randwick, and I just think he'll be too good for them. He looks the class horse on paper. Number 1, Happy Clapper. From number 2, Fox Play. Great run first up and a close second to Winks. And then third in the Group 1, George Main last start. She was beaten a fair way by Happy Clapper, but she did have a month off between runs after a very hard first run, so she'll strip a lot fitter for this. Not well weighted though, with 54.5 kilos in my opinion, but I'm still putting her in for second. And for third, take your pick, Coming Through and Tom Melbourne, 11 and 9. Hard to see anything else figuring in this. Red Excitement may get his way out in front and show a little cheek in the straight. Zanbar, maybe an outside place chance for Query, but number 1, Happy Clapper on top. From 2, Fox Play, 11, Coming Through, and 9, Tom Melbourne for the Grade 1 Epsom Handicap at Randwick. Now let's take a look at the Grade 1 Flight Stakes over the mile for the 3-year-old fillies. Elise, the favorite, at about $2.80 this morning. From Champagne Cuddles at about $4.20. Go down to Cellar Girl at $6. Pandemonium, Joe Maria, well in the market at $7. A little short for mine. And One More Honey at $8. Down to I'm Excited at $13. Well, the top 2 look like they're going to fight this out. Elise, Champagne Cuddles. I can't split them. Elise did beat Champagne Cuddles over the 1,400 meters last time. It was a solid win. She drew away. I think she won it, well over a length in the end, and she's had 2 weeks to recover from that. Perfect preparation for this. Champagne Cuddles backed up after that and ran in the Golden Rose and ran a sensational race, coming from well back to run second. She's run second in the last 3 starts in a row. Not often you see a horse backing up 3 weeks in a row. That's the query with her. But I really think the 1,600 meters is going to suit her in this race. So, I'm going to put 1 and 2 on top with a slight leaning to Champagne Cuddles. But I think that, you can back both in a Quinella. I think they'll fight it out. Number 4, Cellar Girl for third. She was getting the line as good as anything in the race Elise won the other day. And she should appreciate the mile. We'll throw in 3, One More Honey, down to 6, I'm Excited, and 8, Pandemonium for your trifectas. So 1 and 2 on top, from 4, Cellar Girl in the Group 1 Flight Stakes. Next, we're going to take a look at the Group 2 Premier Stakes, a lead up for the Everest, and the Everest favorite Chautauqua gets a trip over 1,200 meters at Randwick. He's the favorite at $2.75 this morning. From English at $5.50. In her time at $6, $8 for Clearly Innocent, 11 Ball of Muscle, 13 Fell Swoop, and Takedown at 14. Well, you couldn't miss Chautauqua's run first up in the shorts. He'll appreciate the extra 100 meters here. The only question mark here is, will there be enough speed on to facilitate that incredible finish that he has? I think there will be. He's going to have to win this and go very close to maintain favoritism after She Will Reign's extraordinary win in the Moya last night. I think he'll win. Number 1, Chautauqua on top from English, number 9. She ran a great race first up. She was wide, 3 deep without cover. She's going to look the winner at some point in time in this race, and a lot will depend on how fast they go. But Chautauqua's, I just think he's got her number going back to the TJ Smith. For third, tough race. I'm going to go with one with a little bit of odds here, number 5, Curo. Very good record. He's got Joe Marina on board. Barrier 2. Very good horse, currently at $18. I think that's great each way value for this horse. So I'm putting him next. And then for your multis, number 3, Takedown, 4, Fell Swoop, and 7, Ball of Muscle. But number 1, Chautauqua from English and Curo in the Premier Stakes. Final Group 1 of the day, the Metropolitan, over 2,400 meters, a mile and a half here for the stayers. A handicap here. Quite a few vying for favoritism here. You've got Libran at 550 this morning. You've got Antonio Giuseppe with Joe Marina at 525. You've got Life Less Ordinary at 550. Foundry at 650. Big Duke also at 650. Who Shot the Bomb at 12. So those are pretty good odds for him. Broadside in there at about 825. Listen, I'm not a big fan of betting in these handicaps. I've not had a lot of luck in the Metropolitan over the years, so I'm going to stay out of this race. All I'm going to say is Chris Waller will win it. As to which horse, I don't know. Maybe Antonio Giuseppe each way. You have to have a bet in the race. Who Shot the Barman? Geez. Again, probably 6-7 horses can win this race. I'm going to stay out of it. Sorry, I can't be of more help there in the Metropolitan, but just not a big fan of these handicaps, kind of second-class stayers. None of these horses really being talked about as Caulfield Cup horses or Melbourne Cup horses at this stage, but who knows? If something can come out and win this race well, they'll come into play. So those are our thoughts for Sydney. Best bet on the card, Happy Clapper in the Epsom. We're going to come back shortly and we're going to cover the card at Caulfield for Sunday, Underwood Stakes Day. Wonderful card at Caulfield, and we're going to kick off with the feature, the Grade 1 Underwood Stakes over 1,800 meters. We've got a good track at Caulfield, probably around a good 3, and the rail in its true position. So the Underwood Hartnell, the favorite, at about $2 this morning, 205. Bonneville and Blackheart Bart about $4.80 a piece on the second line of betting, and then go down to about $11.50 for Galo Chop. He's our Rocky. He's staying in Melbourne for this race, and he's at about $26. So Hartnell, great run, much better than it looked on paper in the Craigley, the Makybe Diva there with Blackheart Bart. They finished second and third. Not much between them. Hartnell had to do a lot of work early. Still battled on gamely to beat Blackheart Bart. He's beaten Blackheart Bart twice this prep. I think he's got his number, and I think he'll be too good here today again. Number 1, Hartnell on top from number 2, Blackheart Bart. Won this race last year. He's as honest as they come again. He was 3 wide last start as well, so he had some excuses. This looks like a really good race for him. I'm putting in number 8, Bonneville, for third. Great win in the Dado. Just not sure how good that form is. Abby Marie ran 5th last start in a much weaker race, and she's also in this at about $20. But she is an Oaks winner, Jewel Oaks winner. She's won her last 5 in a row, and she might be something special. We'll find out on Sunday, but I just can't go past Hartnell. He's the class horse of this race. So 1, 2, and 8. I'm putting in 3, Galo Chop for 4th. Listen, if there's going to be an upset, he might be the one to do it. His run was full of merit in the Makybe Diva. So those are my numbers in that. And if you're looking for a roughie for your multis, maybe number 5, Inference, 1, 2, 8, and 3. Let's go to the next Group 1 on the card, and it's the Rupert Steele handicap at 1,400 meters. Open race. Scales of Justice, though, pretty short. The favorite around 3:15 this morning. You've got Toss and Stardom at 650. The Answer, My Friend, at $8. Mr. Sneaky, $8.75. And then go down to Grand Rosso at 15 to 1. So You couldn't miss Scales of Justice run down the straight there at Flemington. He was the horse to follow, one of the horses to follow out of that meeting. Top class West Australian Group 1 horse. Should appreciate the 1400 meters in the turn here. He's a little short here, but gee, I think he'll win. Number 3, Scales of Justice. I've put him on top. I'm making him a special as well from 4, Toss and Stardom. 2 runs back, should have him absolutely ready to fire in this. Only knock on him, he's drawn out in 16. That's a concern over 1400 at Caulfield. And, well, we'll put in Sosi Bon, number 11 for 3rd, looking for a little bit of odds. Backing up, 3rd week in a row for him, but he's drawn in 2. He'll be getting home. He's always getting home. Number 11, 10, The Answer, my friend, for 4th. But again, very open race. I haven't had a whole lot of luck in this race either. A little bit better than a Metrop. It's somewhat number 1, maybe a place chance. I mean, the Doncaster winner, not badly weighted at 58 kilos. Lucky Hustler also not badly weighted on his best form, but Scales of Justice to win. We're going to take a look at the Guineas Preludes for the fillies and for the colts. We'll kick off in race 5, the 1,000 Guineas Preludes. Catchy the favorite, firm at $2, so $2.05 this morning. Shoals at 7, Booker at $5.25. She's so high, $8.25. Well, it looks like a race in 2 here with Catchy and the undefeated Shoals. Catchy's run in the Danehill was just sensational after being checked at the start, storming home down the outside. Should appreciate the 1400 meters here. Drawn well in barrier 4. She's the class horse. 58.5. She's got some weight here, so she's giving weight to everybody, but she's earned it. The Blue Diamond winner. I'm putting her on top from Shoals, number 2. She's a good filly. She's getting a kilo off Catchy. If there's any chink in Catchy's armor, she might be the one to beat. I certainly think there's not much between the two. And at $7 each way, she might be worth a saver. 6, Booker for 3rd. I'm going to put Limestone in, number 3 for 4th. I'm just astonished that she's actually running after the fall 2 weeks ago, and here she is just 2 weeks later running again. Ran a good 4th first up, and good form before that in the autumn, and I'd love to see her run a good race here, number 3, Limestone, but got to go with Catchy, 2nd favorite right now for the Caulfield Guineas, and maybe with a win here, and if anything happens with Royal Symphony in the Colts race, she might find herself challenging for favoritism. But Catchy on top, 1, 2, 6, and 3. Now over to the Guineas Prelude for the Colts, and Royal Symphony, short price favorite at $2.15, which is a little bit short. This is a pretty good field here. The Sydney horse Kementari at $4.80. Let's see, down to Eclair Sunshine at $9.50. Lavendi unbeaten on a couple of country tracks at $10.50. The Piero Colt and Summer Passage 19s. Well, that's way overs for Summer Passage. Invader 22. And those are the main horses in the market here. Esperance at $12.50 also. Well, Royal Symphony's win at Flemington 2 weeks ago was sensational. He's the ruling Caulfield Guineas favorite. Drawn out in 12, but that may not be a bad thing for him. I'd probably rather see him, 3 deep with plenty of galloping room here than being stuck on the rails as he was in Flemington. I think he'll win. I think he'll be too good for them. Number 10, Lavendi, 2 starts for 2 wins. We don't know how good he is. We'll find out today. Putting him in for 2nd. For 3rd, I'm going to put in number 2, Summer Passage. His run was a little better than it looked on paper. He was a little inconvenienced there when Limestone went down. He's a quality colt, and he may be the testing material in this. And for your multis, we'll throw in 9, Esperance, 8, Eclair Sunshine, 6, Kementari, and maybe 1 Invader. This should be a great race, and we'll find out how good Royal Symphony is and how good some of these other colts are after the Guineas Prelude. So, wonderful days racing. Best bet, I'm going to make it Hartnell in the Underwood. And for those looking for a quaddie, I'm going to take 1 and 2 in race 5. That's Catchy and Shoals. We'll go into 3 Royal Symphony and 10 Lavendi in the Guineas Prelude, into number 1 Hartnell, and I'm just going to stick with him in the Underwood, and we'll go ahead and add Scales of Justice in the Rupert Clarke, that's number 3, and yeah, I guess I'll put in 4 Tossum Staff as the other horse, or 10 The Answer My Friend, 11 Sosie Bond. I may have a couple in the Rupert Clarke. It's an open race, very, very open race. So those are my thoughts for the meetings at Randwick on Saturday and Caulfield on Sunday. Should be a wonderful day's racing. If you are going to bet, please bet responsibly. I'm Eric Michael Cap for Australian Racing Review, and we'll be back next week for the big meeting at Flemington, the Turnbull Stakes, and Winks